Episode 1. There is a Spork in the middle of the road. Welcome to TNT. Tony tries new things. Here's your host, Tony.
Hello, welcome to the first podcast. This is my first podcast too, actually. Fun fact, by the way, that cough at the end that you heard was not rehearsed. He actually ran out of breath. But we decided to keep it in. That's the type of show this is. You know, a little kooky, a little zany, a little random, a little unpolished. That's the type of human I am anyways. Actually, it's a little quiet, so let me just talk to my producer real quick and add some sounds into this. Producer! Can you add some ambiance music, please? I was thinking of something a little more mellow. It's coming on a little too strong, like Axe body spray. There we go. That's what I wanted. Alright. So, now we got the ambiance music playing. Everything's nice and cool. Thanks, producer. I'm gonna give him a high five later. So, what's going on with TNT is... it's actually an acronym for two different types of podcasts that we're trying to make over here at Tinkery Studios. I want to thank the boys over there for helping me out. We got illustrators, we got music designers, we got idea people. It's pretty great. It's pretty great. I'm glad to have all these people on my side. So that's nice and all, but I'm sure you're wondering, what the hell is this podcast? Okay, let me explain. I have too much free time on my hands, but also as well, I got some ideas I need to get out of myself. So, TNT can be broken down into two parts. It's Tony Tries New Things and Tony Talks Notions Today. So depending on the category of the interviews and things that I do, it's going to fall into one of those subgenres. But today, you get a hit of both. It's going to be a hybrid episode in which I'm trying something new, which is running this podcast and hopefully making it a success. I don't care for the money. I'm not dreaming of making it big. I just want to share my perspective and the perspective of the people I'm interviewing and spending time with to you guys. And then Tony Talks Notions is basically a one-on-one interview on a topic that has been in my brain for a bit, or just bothering me or excites me in a specific way that I just sat down and was like, damn, I need to make a podcast about that. So this first episode is actually about perceptions and first impressions that we make on people and how it's so wrong. And the first person to get interviewed is PapaLubie. Due to anonymity, he wants me to use his username that he uses online. So it's just PapaLubie, but he's a dear friend of mine. I adore this man. And 3, 2, 1. Hey, PapaLubie.
Hey, Tony, how are you?
Doing well, and yourself? Going to hit the pause button really quick. A disclaimer for this episode. Later in the episode, we're going to talk about sensitive topics such as depression and suicide. If you or someone you know has a mental illness, is struggling emotionally, or has concerns about their mental health, there are ways to get help, and I'm going to be adding a link and phone numbers to resources on the podcast page wherever you are listening. PapaLubie himself speaks very openly and candidly on his struggles with depression and is currently seeing a therapist and working toward his own recovery. Within the episode, he jokes about the subject matter of suicide and death. It's his way of coping, and by no means is he trying to be offensive to anyone. With the topic at hand, listener discretion is advised. Please feel free to leave the podcast at any time you do not feel comfortable. Thank you. This is PapaLubie. This is the gentleman that I was talking about in the introduction. He's a dear friend of mine. So PapaLubie is going by PapaLubie. That's not his real name, clearly. He wanted to stay anonymous for this podcast, in which I agreed, of course. And I brought him on just because I wanted to talk about perceptions and how interesting PapaLubie is to me. A little introduction. PapaLubie and I had met in middle school. I don't remember the grade we met, though. Do you?
6th grade.
6th grade? It was that? Damn. Okay. God.
Yeah, that's when I was like, got out of my shy phase and started hanging out with everyone.
Okay.
Like, made new friends and shit.
Yeah, I get that.
Not new friends, my first friends.
Your first friend? So you didn't make friends in elementary, you would say?
No, I was bullied.
You were...
I can't
picture
guys
that.
and the girls.
I had the reverse. I was super cool in elementary, and then I got bullied in middle school.
Right.
Yeah, so it was quite the reverse. So sixth grade. So we've known each other for quite a while now, and we went to the same high school too. We graduated at the same time, and I would say we lost track after we graduated. That's how I would sum it up.
Yes, went to the Marine Corps, and I kind of just pushed everyone away while, because I was with my girlfriend at the time, who
Hmm.
turned to my fiance. No, just focus on her, and then, well, again, it didn't go according to plan because relationships don't last.
Yeah.
But for the most part, she didn't want me. She was too clingy. She had attachment issues, and
Hmm.
she couldn't deal with me being far apart. She didn't have the decency to like just break it off.
Yeah.
She wanted to keep going at it. I just like said, okay,
Yeah.
we can make it work. We can make it work.
Yeah. I think this is why I wanted to talk to you about perception so much. So we lost touch, right? And you had a whole life that I didn't know about, and vice versa, right? I mean, we didn't keep tabs on each other, and
Okay.
basically, I think we reconnected on Discord, right? When we started gaming together when COVID hit.
Yes.
Yeah, you changed a lot since we last talked. This is why I want to talk about perceptions and first impressions that we make on each other. Because back in sixth grade, I remember you're like a really sweet dude, and you had this contagious laugh about you. That's the laugh. That's the laugh.
Right.
It's kind of goofy, um, but it's adorable, and it's just life changed us quite a bit. And when we came back and we started talking, I realized you were more brash, more straightforward, more abrupt in nature. At first, it was kind of off-putting, if I can be honest, but I I
You
I respect that
motherfucker.
so much. No, I respect you so much. I really do. It's I wrote this analogy on my script. I put you're America and I'm Canada, right? As we aged, I realized I was apologizing for things that were like, if someone bumps into me, I would apologize, that type of nonsense. And you're America.
Ah.
Yeah, you're America in the sense that you bump into someone, you demand an apology. I again, I respect you. I respect you quite a bit. So let's talk about it. Let's catch up. You went to the military. You went to the Marines. What was your rank after you left?
uh, Corporal, so that's E3. Yeah, I didn't even make it that far, dude, solely because while I was in, there was a lot of higher ranks that did not want to retire. Once you get E3, E4 is kind of hard to get because there has to be slots
Mm,
for you to get promoted, and there was already corporals that were waiting to get promoted and they didn't want to retire, so they were doing another 4 years, but then they couldn't get promoted because the higher ups, like the master sergeants or like staff sergeants, who were still there for like 16, 18 years, and for most jobs like staff sergeants, it should only take 6 to 7 years,
mhm.
and people have been there for a while, and then there's the other ones, the older people that just stay, and then it interrupts the flow of promotions.
I see. I see.
Obviously there's ways to get promoted like without with the number based. It wasn't until like my last couple of months, like the last 6 months, that people started retiring and more promotion slots were open, and I got promoted, and then yeah, that's about it.
Okay. So
That's your question.
yeah, yeah. So what did you do in the military during that time?
I was a tank crewman, so M1 A1s, basically, combat support, driving the tanks, shooting the tanks, loading the tanks, and our job description didn't entail mechanic, but more than half of the time we're working on the tanks. Well, we had mechanics on standby for like the more technical stuff.
During your time in the military, again, my perception of the military is totally something else. It's what the media used to feed me as a kid. I had military friends come back and they changed. They changed quite a bit, and I haven't met a lot of military friends where they're like, it was a really positive experience. I would do it again. It was a lot of I would never go back. I'm out. I'm not going back. Would you say that's the case for you?
I think it all depends on the specific job you have and the branch, because for the most part, from I would say from worst to too good would be like the Marine Corps and the Army, and then the Navy, and then the Coast Guard, and then the Air Force. It gets lenient as you get to the Air Force, but if I had to compare two branches, it would be like the Army and the Marine Corps because we're similar in a sense. But it all depends on the job you are in, because like for infantry or like any like combat support, like you put a lot of stress on your back, and then there's usually no proper training or procedures, for that sort of thing. And when if there is, the people that are in charge of you are usually just people that are barely any older than you, or and if you're lucky, you have people that have the same mindset as you, but most of the time are just people that couldn't make it after high school, and then now they were bullies in high school, and now they're still bullies in the military. The ones that do another 4 years, I'm not saying all of them, but the ones I know, they're usually people that can't succeed other than the Marine Corps or the military sense.
Hmm. It's interesting you bring that up because I don't picture you in either category, a bully or a non succeeder after school. So why'd you choose the military?
Uh, well, I wasn't a bad kid in high school. I just was not very prone to education, and I was with I was with a lot of different groups while in high school. Like to say like I was a whore back in high school. I just moved from friend group to friend group, hang with the Asians, the black people, the white people, with a few white people we had at our school,
Yeah, they were like
and then
they were like five.
the baseball grew, the soccer grew, the Yu-Gi-Oh grew.
There was a Yu-Gi-Oh group.
Yeah, there was people playing Yu-Gi-Oh on the benches
Oh right, the card
on
game.
the
Yes, yeah, I remember now. I remember now.
yeah, the far end of the school. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But I wasn't like very prone to, and I hanged out with other people like fake gangbangers and then real ones, and eventually I joined like my religion faith,
Mhm.
and I started opening it up more due to that. Wait, what was your question? Why I
Like,
joined? Okay,
yeah, why'd you join?
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say that I thank my religion as a boost, but more so like the foundations found while at school, my friends, and at church to becoming the person I am now. I was able to choose the Marine Corps because I did not want to go to school anymore, and I chose the Marine Corps because I was the first kid of my family, and I wanted to be a good role model for my siblings. So I joined the Marine Corps. But for the funny part is that the Marine Corps wasn't even my first choice. I joined because well, I applied because I have a friend Alfredo.
Mhm.
He was supposed to go in with me, but a couple weeks before it was time to go to MEPS. MEPS is where we go and then get a physical, see how our basically where all the paperwork goes for recruiting. And Alfredo already had a tattoo on his left arm, and he was gonna get a waiver for it. But then a couple weeks before it was time to go, he got another tattoo on his other arm, and then he wasn't able to go. And the main point of me doing the Marine Corps was because Alfredo wanted to do it, and now he's not going. So I was like, you know what? I'm already balls deep in, so I might as well go and see how it goes. And I was at the Yellow Footprints at San Diego MCRD, and it was like around 1 in the morning. They had us waiting out there for a while, and then three drill instructors with like their very pointy hats or drill hat, yeah, the drill hats. They came out. They started yelling at us. They told us not to move, and they said, if you this is your last chance. If you want to leave, go now." And I was just there confused, like, what the fuck? Why would we leave? We are like, most of us, most of the half of the bus were coming from other states. And then like when he said that, like I would say like seven people left,
Wow.
and then someone just started running away, like back to the gate. And I was like thinking to myself, like, man, you know what? I could leave too. But then I didn't want to. look like a bitch to my current girlfriend and my family. You know, my parents. So
Mm.
I stick to it. I met friends, brothers, and then someone from my squad, my platoon, killed himself, and during the recruitment process, the 3 months, and I didn't know what to think about that. I was just like,
So he killed himself even before you guys got deployed.
not well. So there's boot camp,
Yeah.
and then there's combat training, which is a month, and then there's our school, which is could be from like 2 months to a year.
Yeah.
And and then after that, it's called the fleet, and then deployments happen here and there depending on what they need.
You see.
But if I can, yeah, this happened while I was in boot camp, and fucking we were on the third floor, and they were doing intense training to him, like excessive training, and then we they let him there for a little bit, and then out of nowhere he just ran out the door and jumped, and I saw blood splatter his body, and it was a very unusual moment. I didn't know how to feel
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to his family too.
because my drill instructor were freaking out, they were crying, getting drunk, and then I realized the next month we went to Pendleton to do
Mhm.
like our combat training and like shooting range, and my drill instructor brought a dog, his pit bull, and it mauled one of the kid's arms. And I'm like, okay, this is getting stupid. So this shouldn't be happening.
Yeah.
But it was getting worse. Sooner or later, like I did the graduation and I became a Marine. And then during all that process, even while I came back for like recruiting detail for which is like 2 weeks,
Mhm.
I still didn't know what if I should continue it. But I was already like signed in and like contract and everything. I was part of the government.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't know if I should do this anymore. But I just winged it and then kept on going. And I started opening it up more. Like, because back in high school, I'm not going to lie, I was pretty racist. And like white people or black people. Our school until like about 40, 45 to 46 blacks and Mexicans, and everyone else like white or
Yeah.
Asian. And yeah, but then eventually, when I was in the Marine Corps, I met all types of ethnicities, blacks, whites, Middle Eastern,
Mhm.
and gay people too. And I I like saying it as at the end at while I was in Marine Corps, I found out that basically everyone's racist. Like everyone's racist to each other. It doesn't matter.
Mm.
But I'm more prone to not be racist to anyone anymore.
Because
Uh,
you have that understanding, right? You had that environment to help you out.
yeah, it was a struggle, but like, I made it through. The one thing I can say while my time in there is I enjoyed the brotherhood, but there was deceptions and lies for the select few, and then leadership was horrible because they're assholes.
This whole perception thing, right, was the whole topic of it, and why I wanted to talk to you. Because, like, your honesty, you openly saying that you're racist in the past and you're trying to do better. I appreciate that. I really do. Something had happened which it motivated me to even do this podcast and talk about perceptions with you was because I was involved in a recent incident where there was a lot of miscommunication between people and it just led to different perceptions and different ideas going around about people. I was like, this is
Hmm.
stupid. This is like some high school stuff. If you just sit down and try to get to understand the person, you can't really hate them. I'm not saying you're a
Yeah.
bad guy for having your prejudice or anything like that. Again, we grew up in an environment, right? I played into the stereotype that all Asian kids were smart. So to get out of trouble, I was offering my homework to people to not get beat up. So I understand that. Also, as
I
well,
never got that homework, asshole.
hey, we weren't in the same class. I would have gave it to you for free. The thing I appreciate about you was when we did get to start talking again, it was just this honesty. Like you didn't seem like you were trying to hide anything, and if people didn't like you because you said something or you acted a certain way, you didn't care. That's
Uh,
opposite of, I feel like, a lot of people, right? A lot of people are self-conscious. They want people to like them. They want strangers to like them. All that stuff. I still struggle with it, but that's why I appreciate you being so open. So I want to thank you on that as well.
oh, well, you're welcome. Because
Yeah.
overall, I'm it's still hard because I'm not saying I'm still racist, but there's still little outbursts that come out here and there.
Mhm.
But it's not as heavy as it was when I was in high school or in the Marine Corps. And like the honesty part, I agree with that because with there's still a lot more that I've been said, but like my relationships and then the girls I've been out with, and
Mhm.
I've been always trying to be number one, being there for them,
Yeah. Yeah.
not cheating, not being that bad guy.
Mhm.
But as you learn in your early 20s, girls don't want that. They want that bad guy.
Interesting.
And eventually I just like I don't give a fuck anymore. If I start going out with a girl and then she says she wants to go out with someone else, like because she's losing feelings or she doesn't find me attractive anymore or any sense, I would just like, okay, who cares? Deuces.
Mhm.
I can deal with that because at least they told me. But there's this vibe that it's not just girls, it's guys too, where they just rather be nice and not say anything that's bothering them and just hold it in till later. Like like a cup of water overflowing with water, and you don't stop the water, it's gonna overflow. So basically, like people are holding all those negative thoughts or things that they couldn't say
Mhm.
until it's too late. And that's where I found that most girls who I went out with in my early 20s rather not be honest and truthful and
Mhm.
rather just wait it out. So I rather have someone be honest with me, and even if it's brutal, as long as it's honest, I don't give a fuck. I'm still gonna move on with my life. That's because at first I was, oh, I need this specific person in my life and I love them and stuff, and there was attachment issues that were happening and stuff. But I come to realize there's many girls out there. There's no reason for me to just cry over the one.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because eventually, and then it's just not for me, but for everyone. Eventually, there is someone for you.
Interesting you bring this up because one of the questions I wanted to ask you. Can you remember one time where your perceptions were so off about something that you're like, "Holy crap, I was just wrong the whole time about this"? And I'm guessing you had this happen in relationships before, where you had a perception going in, and then it just completely changed after that.
Good moment. I think where my whole perception actually changed was when I found out that my fiance was cheating on me. It was crazy because during that whole time period, everything was fine. In my eyes, everything was fine. We were hanging out, we were going out. She was happy, she was smiling, and the issue was that she was working at a new place and she had a guy friend, and she said, "Oh, don't worry, it's just a guy. It's just my friend." And I was like, "All right," because I trusted her.
Mhm.
But since I was in the Marine Corps, she didn't have no one to talk to about like, oh, like he's away or like no girlfriends basically.
Mhm.
She didn't have that many girlfriends, and the I'm assuming the guy took the opportunity that when she was talking to him about like, oh, I'm far away and stuff and shit. I always told her like if there's anything wrong, let's talk it through, and she will always say she's fine, nothing's wrong. As the days go by, I realized that she was being withdrawn
Mhm.
from me and saying I love you less, and she has yeah attachment issues, she has anxiety, and she wanted me to be there every day for her.
Mhm.
Like I couldn't do it. Like at the very least, I went like twice a month, like once every paycheck, and then I come and visit for the weekend, and we spend time. And I always told her, hey, like if you need space, you need time for yourself, then we can do that early on, right? But then she committed to be my fiance, so I'm assuming she was already down to get married and do
Be
the whole
loyal.
spill.
Yeah.
Yeah, be loyal. She started having feelings for this guy, and she cheated on me with him. I had to pull it out of her, like, 'cause She was acting weird one day, and she said, "I want to break up," and I was like, "What the hell? Why? Why?" And the first thing that came in my mind was like the guy, and I asked her like, "Is it your guy friend?" And during this whole process, it's a serious talk. I'm not yelling at her or raising my voice. I'm just trying to figure out what's the reason.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I loved her, and I was trying to fix things. But I was trying to fix things that weekend, but I couldn't do it. And then I told her, "Hey, let's talk again next week. I'll come." And she agreed. But during that night, I got in a car accident, and my phone was thrown out of the vehicle, and I had a big gash on my forehead, my temple basically. I couldn't communicate with anyone back home for like a month,
Mm.
and then I got my replacement phone at the end of the month. Called because I couldn't get into social media because I have everything like password remembered on my phone. Month later, I called her and she's like, "No, it's over." She basically told me that she was with the other guy already, and I was like, "Holy shit!" A whole month after fucking 4 years of a relation, like what I come in, it just takes a month to forget. And then I found that she was cheating on me like 6 months prior.
Mm.
So those 6 months were fake in a sense, but in my eyes and in my heart, it was true. But it found, I come to realize that people can be conniving and like they'll get what they want.
Yeah.
And that was the moment that changed my life because for the first 6 months I was pretty depressed and I couldn't get over her. And I became a man whore, and yeah, and I started having sex with multiple people, multiple women,
Mm-hmm.
and women my age, women older than me, and I was like 24, and I was the oldest I was with was like 40. But for that next six and a half months, I was every time I had sex with a girl, I was thinking about her, and then I decided to get in a relationship. It didn't work out because she cheated on me too. And then for a moment, I thought, oh, I was the problem. There must be a reason why. But I came to realize that there's trial and error for everything. I
Mm.
guess I was just looking at the wrong places because I was going out with very attractive women, and like the attractiveness is good for the first part, but after a while, you see their character, their personality, and it's not gonna work out.
Yeah, they might be attractive on the outside, but not the inside, right?
Yeah, yeah. And then now I'm just going through the depression and the past couple of years in school, trying to figure myself out.
First of all, I want to say sorry that life's been rough on you. And I do appreciate you trying your best. You could have easily been an asshole from the get go, but I don't think that was your choice per se. It's kind of like you grew into this person that sees relationships this way rather than it being forgiving in nature because you went through it pretty rough with a fiance too.
Just pros and cons to how my life is. There's moments in my life I could have been a little bit better or changed differently, but I don't regret my decisions anymore because everything, for every negative in my life, there's always a positive. 2018, I was on the verge of killing myself again. So that was the second time, and I I started investing, and I put all my money into one stock. And I say, if it doesn't work out, well, we all know what's gonna happen. But thank the Lord, Jesus Cristo. Um, I made it big on the T-Mobile and Sprint merger that
Uh-huh.
happened in March of 2019, and with the 15, well, it was like $13,000. I made 185K from that investment,
Hmm.
and then I started investing more and more. What about
I
you?
I really like that you put this dichotomy between it's bad stuff happens, but then good stuff happens too. Your life has been an interesting one. That's why I wanted to deep dive into it too as a case study. How about this question? Your perceptions were wrong about your fiance. Have you ever
Hmm.
had it where you went in negatively but it came out positively? You're like, ooh, I don't like this person. They like become your best friend or anything like that. Cause that's how I feel about you.
Bruh. Yeah. Um, Negatively, but then turn to positive.
Yeah, yeah, just like an experience. Like you're like, give this donut a try. It looks terrible, but I eat it, and it was fantastic. It was a great donut.
Yeah, I would say the investments.
Hmm.
that I did last year. That because that was a big negative on my part because I was just throwing all my money in there. And last year, I won't say how much I made, but it was in the top 100,000s. But like for any investor, when you invest in stock or crypto, you don't. It's not actual money until you sell and pull it out.
Mm,
So in a sense, I am wealthy, but I am not rich where I can just buy whatever I want at this very moment.
I see. I see.
The struggle because I'm trying to save that for
Hmm.
the next 8 to 9 years. When it's time, I'll just pull it out and then just live it off, pay the taxes and Gucci.
Yeah. I want to explain to the audience as well. It sounds like you're doing crazy gambles, which you're describing it like, oh, I just went all in. But I just want them to know that after talking to PapaLubie after we caught back up, I realized how smart you were, how much effort you put into your research before you start investing into different stocks.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, no, no, don't say okay like it's not true or like I'm making this up. It's something. It's definitely something I realized about you, even in gaming, right? Like something as trivial as gaming. I see how much effort you put into it. But understanding you now, I can see if something interests you, you will passionately pursue it. I've seen that in the past year that we got back to talking. I wanted to talk to you about your religious upbringing because even as I talk to you now, I can still sense it. Like there's a flip of a coin for you personally, where it's bad and good. That's how the world is. You want to share more about your religious upbringing and how you stand
Sure.
currently with religion?
As a kid, I hated going to church because I'm Catholic and my mom would always take me to church on Sunday. And I hated it. But then as I grew older and in high school, I found like the at the time a harmonious like very harmony and being there with people of my age, and worshiping God.
Mhm.
And there was a time where I wanted to be a father, but as I was part of this youth group at my church, and then I come to realize that people are fake. Like people are they're nice. They put an image that they want to be seen at church, but the moment they leave church, they're someone else. And there was a lot of scandals that's happened during my time at this youth group I was in,
Mhm.
and I was like, I don't want to do this. So like I can say that the foundation of religion is great. It's just that it's the people that
Mm.
make it
It's
worse.
the people that it's
So
involved.
the church is good. The people who conduct the mass and
Mhm.
the church are the people are that are flawed. Because at the end of the day, the scriptures are basically that God is we're in the image of God, but if that's true, then God was bad too. To me, I feel like it's more as long as I do good in my life, there's no need for me to worry about anything in the afterlife or any instance because we still don't know. We still don't know if it's heaven or hell or we just like rotting in the pot of in the coffin that we put in. You know.
Mm. Mm. I definitely agree with that. I grew up Catholic too, and my lord, the people, the hypocritical people that went to church, crazy.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy, and I don't understand. Like you were saying earlier, I don't understand the need where it's like, oh, I go to church, so I'm a good person. It's like, no, you're not. That's not how it works. That's not how it works at all. You can't do one thing a week and call yourself a good person. I'm gonna go straight to heaven. That's not how it works. So
One good thing a day makes it up. That's basically what people are thinking.
no, it's a constant struggle. You can't label yourself as a good person. It just doesn't
Yeah.
work like that. Yeah. So it's really interesting to hear that you wanted to be a priest because that's like the last thing I would associate you with. Yeah, but again, I didn't know you like that well back in high school and middle school. So again, things change, perceptions change.
Cause I'm gonna be honest, like I was like in my faith in that youth group, but then I was flirting with the girls there. I had sex with one of the girls there, and then when I brought my when I got in a relationship with my ex fiance at the time, I brought her to church to the youth group, and then she was having issue with the girl that had sex because she was still there, I was obviously I was a committed man, but fucking it wasn't like good vibes. You know how we have Godfathers.
Yeah.
Well, there's this guy that was part of the youth ministry, so he took care of the teens, and he was a godfather for one of the girls, and he had a girlfriend too,
Uh huh.
and I guess the godfather and his goddaughter they fell in love with each other, and then they got together, and it was just like that's just weird, like.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah. And then his girlfriend was like, "What the fuck? That's your goddaughter." And he was like, "But we love each other." It's like, what the fuck is
That
going on?
it's so incestuous, even though they're not blood related. It's just ugh.
Yeah. And then
Ugh.
and then there was people having sex in the old church, and I was like, "Oh my god."
Man,
uh,
God, yeah, I see why you had a falling out with your not a falling out, but I see why you didn't go back to your church. Uh,
yep.
yeah, yeah, that's I don't know what to say to that. I don't know what to say to you. Just told me. I don't know what to say.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure it happens a lot in other settings of churches.
Yeah.
And like, well,
Uh,
I'm pretty sure I'm like one of the few that actually opens up about it. 'Cause I
I,
don't give a fuck.
I appreciate you opening up about it because this is the stuff that you can't really make up. But if you made up, you'd be like, you have a sick kind of mind. Uh, but man, that's a hot mess. Holy crap, that's a hot mess. Can you imagine Judgment Day for those people?
Oh, I saw you.
Yeah,
I saw you in the back of the church.
I saw
Can't believe it.
goddaughter for real, man. Come on.
And then Lucifer's like, even I wouldn't do that. The fuck's wrong with you?
Ooh, that's wild. Um, it's nice to see that you understand for yourself that religion is a good moral grounding for an individual. You didn't completely disregard religion. I've seen people do that before,
Wow.
and but you definitely hold your morals teachings close to heart. I like you were talking about loyalty earlier. I can only
Wow.
picture you now, and I believe this in my hearts of hearts that if you were to find a girlfriend and you truly loved her, you wouldn't be this man whore that you were explaining earlier. I think you would really still be loyal to this individual. Also, as well, like I seen how you help out friends, and I seen your camaraderie and brotherhood with us as well. I know if we are ever in trouble, you'll come and help.
Like, if you're my friend and you've been good to me, I will be there for you. And there's like other individuals like Kevin's your little nephew.
Hmm.
I wouldn't say that he's not. I wouldn't say he's my friend, but I wouldn't say he's not.
Hmm.
Uh, but he has come for advice to me. I wouldn't say for what, but he has
Okay.
come, and I try to be as helpful as I can.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
and
like,
I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. If you treat my family well, I treat you well. That's just how I see it.
oh,
Yeah, maybe I watched Italian mobsters movies too much growing up as a kid, but family's a big attribute for mine. Yeah, so. Okay, so moving on to the next question, with your scandalous stories. Can you
yeah.
share your political alignment? This is the part
Mm.
where people either start hating you or liking you because of where you stand, and I don't completely agree with this at all. I think your political standing shouldn't dictate if you're, let's just say, if you're on the right. Oh, you're a racist or you're homophobic. I don't
Right,
think that's true. Once you do that, you just discredit the person as a person, and that's the same thing
right.
we do with religion. Oh, you're Muslim? Oh God, you're a terrorist. That's just wrong. If you want to share, I don't know how the
All
audience
right.
will take it, but if you want to share.
All right, audience, go fuck yourself. In high school, I was pretty Democrat, and then when I joined the Marine Corps, I was more leaning to the right side, so
Hmm.
Republican. And then when I got out, I voted for Trump, and then I came to like, I saw the goods and bads of Republicans and the red side.
Hmm.
But then at this very moment, I'm more conservative.
Okay.
and and during this election, this past year, right?
Hmm.
Um, I wanted Gang to win, but he didn't get out of that, and then it was just Biden and Bernie and Trump, and I was like, another 4 years of Trump would be great for the economy, but bad for like our cultural sense,
Yeah.
and Bernie is he's cool and all, but I don't I don't see our government doing very well with him. And then there's Biden. It was just and then there's Biden basically. And that man for I seen so many interviews and he forgets what he has to say
Yeah, he tends to stutter a lot.
and the stock market took a crash the moment he got elected. It was they weren't really good choices. So I just winged it and voted for him again for
Hmm.
Trump. And Biden got voted in, and it's fine. Like it's whatever. That's just 4 years. Hopefully, he can fix whatever was done in the past 4 years, and hopefully, he can improve on it. And if not, we will still have more selections in the next 3 years? Yeah,
We'll know our candidates in like 2, because they do the midterm stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, so. Well, thank you for
Well,
sharing and thank you for being honest. Because some people
oh
would just be
yeah.
like, oh, no.
I'm very I'm conservative. I rather call myself conservative than Republican
Mm-hmm.
because I do lean more right, but at the same time I can see the qualities of the left side as well. It's just that for both it's both sides because those are the main sides for Republican and Democrat, red and blue.
Yeah.
There's other ones like like Libertarian, the Green Party, but like for the red and blue, like there's good and bad sides, and I'm like, some of these people are fucking idiots, and it doesn't matter if it's Republican or Democrat. Like, why are these? And it's usually young people. Like, what they just fall into the what the media give them, or and I'm not just saying news, like, but like social media,
Mm.
because like social media is a big impact for young kids right now, and they'll believe whatever it's
Yeah,
after.
it's funny you bring that up because I feel like the the left side knows how to use social media more than the right side.
Yep.
Yeah, and whoever has control of that, even if it was the right side, I think that it might just dictate the current trends per se.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I don't think is the best thing. Right? You shouldn't. You should get your news from both sides and then make informed decisions. Even if you disagree with me, right or left, I rather you be independent and then choose a side because you like that more than the other side. So was
Uh,
hate him or love him, I feel like Trump is this character that, yeah, he has his charm to him. Would you agree? I mean, like, what did you like
Charisma.
about him?
Yeah. He was very confident. And at that moment, I felt we needed confidence in our country
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
I felt like we were weak.
I see.
And how I remember back in the early World War I, World War II era, we were we were proud of ourselves.
Mhm.
Obviously there was like negativities like racism.
Oh yeah, a
But
lot.
for the other aspect was that our citizens they were proud to be Americans, and then now we are at an era where we're just like I people are just want to move out of the country,
Mm.
and I'm like, well, go ahead because America is a melting pot. As you leave America, there's gonna be more people that come from other countries, and then
So
those are the people that want to be here because there's opportunity here. And it's not like the early 2000s where we had that explosive like 9/11 and we were being very cautious and racial to Middle Eastern Muslims,
mhm.
and it's more I can say that more it's more open now compared to how it was 10 years ago. Being gay is not frowned upon anymore. Now there's other types of genders, and like for myself, like I really didn't care, but if you want to be a specific gender or this is who you want, that's fine.
Mhm.
But like just be a good person, work, do what you gotta do, and everything's fine.
Okay, so you would say that you voted for Trump for the nationalism, right? As in, we're lacking that. We're lacking in our self confidence as a nation, and we're more globalist.
Uh huh. And of course, there was positives and there's also negatives. Riots, actual racist crime out.
Oh, a lot,
Was yeah,
a
a lot
lot.
came out.
Well, given the
A lot
media
shit.
was covering it a lot more too, right?
Yep.
But no, no, definitely Trump had riled up a group. Like it was, he brought out he brought out some people that he should have not associated with, basically.
Hmm.
Yeah, and that did not look good for his party or himself. But that's what happened. So I I'm usually independent that votes left.
Okay.
Yeah, it's usually I tend to lean more left, although I am still Catholic and I still understand my conservative sides, right? Stuff like that. But yeah, just okay. Enough about that, man. Right? Enough about politics as well. I wanted to talk to you about. So let me just preface this one more time, right, PapaLubie? You're one of the nicest persons I've known, yet you can be off-putting because of your honesty for some folks, right?
Mm.
And sometimes you talk about stuff where it's like a touchy subject, but man, you're so upfront about it. Oh my God, I've never talked to anyone so straightforward about depression and suicide before and whatnot.
It's like the audience. Hey, audience. Whoever's gonna listen to this. Sometimes I'd be like, damn. Sometimes I just want to kill myself, And it's 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 obviously like just a laugh here and there for dark humor.
Yeah.
But in the back of my head, yeah, there's moments where I am. It just feels there's a cloud in my head. But I come to understand like there's people that care about me, and people will miss me if I take that route. So I'm not saying that I'm gonna stop thinking like this.
Mhm.
It's just that I am more prone to think about what I am be leaving behind if I do it. So the thoughts are always gonna be there. Like, I don't know. I don't. Maybe later, maybe in the next 10 years, I'll feel better. But it's already been 10 years, and I still feel the same.
Mhm. Mhm.
But
The
yeah, it's a it's a funny topic for most people. Like my other friend Tony, the other Tony, Anthony.
the other Tony, yes.
He's a Navy vet, and we do this shit all the time. We just knock each other down. But that's our humor. Like he
Yeah.
tells me to go kill himself. I mean, he tells me to kill myself, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I will. Maybe it's all your fault. You know.
God.
Obviously, it's funny to us, but like,
It was tricky, dude. Like okay, you know me, right? I try to be empathetic and I try to be sympathetic to people. So when you first
yeah,
whipped out these kind of jokes when we first started talking, I was like, "Oh my God. Like what do I do?" And then but I couldn't be the person that was just like, "I'm just going to accept these jokes too." You know what I mean?
yeah, you
Yeah,
can't hold things in like that.
yeah, but I realized the best way to help you, right? This is my little secret to you. The best way to help you was just to understand you.
So there's moments that we're just like chilling in Discord, and then we're normal. But then Tony comes in, and he's like, "Hey, Yo, Chango's my nickname from high school. He's the only one that still calls me that." He's like, "Hey, Chango, are you here?" I was like, "Yeah." What's up, man? He's like, "Go kill yourself," and he just leaves. And in my head, that's very funny. But to everyone else that's in Discord, they're like, "What the?"
Yeah, yeah. It's again like if someone was to not understand the conversation we're having or out of context, right? They're clearly saying this
uh,
guy needs to seek help or other Tony's an asshole. But I get it now. I understand it now. So at the end of the day, if you just try to understand, it's gonna be a lot better than just assuming.
mm.
Yeah, especially you, cause you are a tricky book to read. Yeah. So let's talk about the future. Everything was in the past. Present per se
uh,
is you're holding on to this sum of cash in the stock market and you're trying to save up 8 to 9 years from now. But let's talk about your future, right? Like I want to understand you in a hopeful sense. We saw your past become your present and the person you are today. When you were growing up, right now, what do you want to do in the future? What is your life goals? And you better not say nothing. I know you got some goals.
well, let's just say the past 10 years, I had no goals. I got out Marine Corps 6 years ago, right? This year I got the Marine Corps, and then I got my certificate of like my 8 years of the Marine Corps because you do 4 years active and 4 years inactive, and I got my 8 years of like, hey, you're done with the service. No need to come back, bitch. And um, I did that, but during that period when I got out, I didn't know what to do. I went to college. I I found a fuck buddy, and while I was doing like my courses, I had sex, and it was good. But I was living with family because I bought a home for them.
Mhm.
It wasn't a big home, but it was a home that we can like live at, and it it was 3 bedrooms, but it was very compact. The building, the like most the property was big, but the house was small. A house can be like 2,000 square foot. Like that one was like maybe 1,600 square foot. And the 2 rooms were right next to each other, and then the other room was right next to the kitchen. And it was my mom, my dad, me, my sister, my other sister, my little brother, and my other sister, and so there's 7 people living in the household. And then my sister had a kid, my nephew, and then she had my other nephew, and then before I knew it, it was already 9 of us, and I was already struggling. I was already because I was taking care of my family, and I
Mhm.
was helping with the mortgage, and then I was focusing on my family more than I was focusing on myself, and then my nephews as well. And then before I knew it, I was failing classes. My depression was getting worse. I was just in a dark spiral, and I think it was the end of 2018. I decided to 2018, yeah. I decided to go to Bakersfield with my uncle and live over here because that's
Mhm.
where I'm currently at right now. And then some spades, and I started college. I did my own thing, right? But the thing is, it was just me and my uncle at the house, and it was like a 6 bedroom, 2-story building, like 4 bathroom, and it was all right. But then my uncle's kids,
Your
my
cousins.
cousins,
Yeah.
my cousin and my aunt wanted to move in all of a sudden, which was weird because at the time my aunt wasn't his wife, and I guess they were having issues like here off and on. She decided to get an apartment in Bakersfield,
Mhm.
and she was doing her own thing. She had her own boyfriend, and then off and on with that guy, and then she went back to my uncle. And my uncle just like he did his own thing too, but they eventually got together again. And then my cousins, but I left my uncle's place
Mhm.
to live in my own apartment because um, my cousin was being an ass to me, and she started accusing me for things that weren't true. I was like accusations, and I go to class. I come back. I can't even make food in the kitchen because I'm so insecure with them. The first time I came to live there, fucking my cousin like, don't expect us to make you food. And I was like, what the fuck? What kind of response is that? So I'm like, okay, I thought we were family, and I still thought that till the day I left. I left because my cousin would say she found out how much money I had,
Mhm.
and she's like, why are you living here if you have all that fucking money? If you have all that money, then why don't you fucking leave? And I was like, all right, well, fuck you too then. And I didn't talk shit to her or anything. I was like, you know what? Okay. So I talked to my uncle. I told him about the issue. My uncle's pretty different. Like he said, problems they get worked out, and then they go away. But I'm like, the only way for me for it to go away is if my cousin apologized to me for the way she talked to me, and she never did. And she made her kids to not talk to me anymore because she's like, oh, he takes because I have medication for my antidepressants,
Yeah.
like for my depression and insomnia, and they think they say I treat her kids like shit. And I'm like, I never treat them like shit. They're the ones that come to my room and hang out with me. They play with my cat,
Mhm.
at the time, I'm like, they have no quarrel with me, and they're little girls. Like, why would they hate me, And it's been 7 months since I moved out, and my relationship with my cousin is no more. I don't contact him, and the only relationship I have is with my uncle, but it's very dwindling down. Like he doesn't call me anymore. I'm the one that usually calls him now. It sucks because I came here with for the reason that my family's here, but my family's not doesn't even want to talk to me. So or even like close bonds. They want to stay away, and then I'm like at the same time we're not like family in a sense. They're not my cousins because they're my uncle was never married to their mom.
Yeah.
They just like we're part of the family since like I was a kid. But it's now I'm just like I don't know. I don't want to be here by myself. There's plans of me moving back, but I might talk to Tony again and see what we can do.
So
We'll
plans
see.
to move back due to the original plans.
Loneliness.
Loneliness, right? I'm sorry your cousins decided to be an asshole about things.
That's whatever.
This is where you're currently at, right? So what does the future entail for
Oh
PapaLubie?
yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the point. Fucking my bad.
No, it's okay.
College. I'm tr- I because I've been doing well in my investments. So for last year I was doing school, but this year I dropped a spring semester and just focused on myself. And I do want to go back and finish college because I need like 5 more classes to transfer, and that's for computer science. Hopefully it will work out.
So
We'll
you
see.
you still want to get a degree as
I
well?
still want to get a degree, but I just want a degree because my siblings, like I wasn't the smartest one. The smartest ones in my family were my sisters, and they could have gone to like good university, but they decided to do their own thing.
Hmm.
And my siblings, my two sisters, my little brother, they all work 8-hour jobs, which is fine. But like I want to be someone that can get a degree because
Hmm.
like I'm pretty sure the reason they decided not to go to college because I didn't go to college, and they're like, oh, there's other alternatives. Yeah, finishing college, getting my degree, and then because I do want to feel accomplished
Hmm.
because even though I'm investing and making money, I do wanna have passive income. So I want to finish my degree and start working as either in computer science, software engineering, or maybe mobile applications,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
do something from there. Because at the end of the day, if like my work lays me off, I still have my investments.
True.
Yeah,
I think you could do it, man. I really do.
yeah. Easy.
I believe in all my friends biasly, of course, but um, you're a smart cookie. Once you apply yourself, I don't see you stopping.
Oh,
Yeah, it's true. It's true. So I don't know where you'll be in the future, but I will be there with you. I know that much for sure. We'll be there with you.
nah.
Again, I'm not
That's
flirting with
good
you.
because when I was in the Marine Corps, the only support I had was my fiance, and after we broke up, I even the brothers I had in Marine Corps told me to just forget about her and go on with my day, and it wasn't. No, it's not that easy. And then I was in the Marine Corps, and no one could come. No one interacted with me from
Mhm.
back home. My family never visited me, which is I come to terms. It's fine. My fiance at the time never came to visit me, and then it was just shitty. Like, but more now. Now that I have friends, I talk to them on Discord. I can socialize with people, even if it's not face to face. I have people there, and
Mhm.
it's a lot better than how it was 6 years ago.
Yeah, and I didn't know that's what you're going through 6 years ago.
Oh yeah, it was. Right? Where the fuck were you?
I, Me not knowing that's where I was.
Like,
Hey, but at least it's not too late.
I'm in a good spot right now.
Yeah, I pray it gets better. I pray it
Yes,
gets
yes,
better.
yes.
Yeah. Other than that, I want to thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me on your podcast.
The first one too. Don't you feel special?
Oh, this is the first one?
This is the first one. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Look at me, number one.
Number one. Yep. I mean, you were the catalyst on why I wanted to do this to begin with.
Ah.
When we first started talking, I was just like, if he's rubbing me the wrong way, but I have the patience to understand why I feel rubbed the wrong way, I'm sure other people aren't gonna have the time of day or like the sympathy to do it. So I just wanted to show the world why you're you and why I appreciate you so much. So at least other people can understand that you're not this quote unquote persona. You have a heart, you have a soul, you have a mind, and it's
Yes, yes.
yeah. So you're not a negative being in my life, right? So I wanted to show the world why PapaLubie was a friend of mine and why they should give you a chance to. And that's a wrap for the first episode. Producer, you got anything you want to say? Okay, he's vigorously shaking his head no. Forgive him, he's a bit shy. But before we go, I want to thank the team for helping me put this show together. You got Noel, the magic man who created our intro theme. You got Daniel, the cookie Chong. Not only is he a presenter, but he's an illustrator too. Danny Mejia, the man behind the photos and our tech specialist, and David Wynn, my brother from another mother, with the graphic design eyes to put this show together. Thank you for listening. And why they should give you a chance to.
And if they don't, go fuck yourselves.
Exactly, right? We did all we could. I made a damn podcast.